All right, let's fucking just
man.
let's just pop Henry in here and we'll do the intro really quick.
All right.
What up?
Doo-doo.
Connecting the audio.
Oh, you got the free Mary Jane shirt on?
Yeah.
I don't
Rocking that
have none of
SKP.
those anymore. I used to have a bunch of them, bro.
I think I have your
I
green
used
and
to have
your
a bunch
green
of
one.
them bitches.
I think I have your green one.
Yeah, you like I had a green and white one.
Yeah.
Yes, green and white.
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Let's hey, turn your phone sideways, Henry.
That.
Yeah, that's better.
There we go.
There he goes.
All
There that
right.
boy goes.
What's that, Reggie?
What's up, man? How you doing?
What do you mean, what's up, man? That's a
I said, how
joke.
you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Oh, shit.
Sebastian knows.
I just woke up like 30 minutes ago, so I'm on my wake and bake right now, so I'm
Nice.
getting it together.
All right. I'm going to
This
join
is
in.
at least the 4th or 5th time that I've smoked
You
today.
got coffee or tea?
Coffee. Oh shit, that's dope.
I'm not mad at that.
I don't have a fucking you ain't heard of us coffee cup yet.
I do.
Is it two-sided? That's one side.
Sick.
Oh, shit.
That's the other side.
Oh, that's dope.
So we're gonna have hats and beanies soon. I got the okay from the website. I just gotta send them the dimensions of the logo and we can get embroidered beanies and dad hats, and trucker hats, and snapbacks.
4.
Hey.
You ain't heard?
Yeah, you ain't heard of us. Yeah. I might do a smoke sesh crew thing. I don't know. For sure, though. I gotta have a you ain't heard of us hat.
Yo, that would be tight. I be wearing my wearing my shirt and shit.
Yeah.
Shirts. Sometimes I wear the fucking baby one. The little fucking the smaller one.
So let's go. This is season 2, officially season 2, episode 1 of the You Ain't Heard of Us podcast.
Yep.
Fucking time it is.
We're back. We made it. We didn't die.
Little break.
Welcome
How's
back.
the maternity leave there, Reggie?
Maternity leave. It's been all right, man. It's been all right. I can't complain. I'm glad we live in a country that lets dad dude have his maternity leave.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You've been getting the royalty checks, right? They've been coming.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, paying all the bills, and I got shit left over to buy sandwiches. So we're living the life, bro. How you been out there in your beautiful 70 degree summer?
Man, pretty good. Been enjoying it. Been doing a lot of gardening. Got the flower bed going out front, doing some landscaping. Just making the most of it. Making lots of music. Trying to stay making music.
Right.
Yeah, I see that
right.
background. What's that background about?
Yeah, we got the Burleson single dropping tomorrow, man. Officially on everywhere. So, I mean, by the time this is out, it'll be out. So you can just go check out Burleson Truth. It should be out everywhere you are streaming music. Or you can buy it on Bandcamp and give me direct money.
Buy that shit on Bandcamp and then go stream on Apple.
For Bandcamp.Burleson Sound. Yeah.
Right on.
Fucking
Burleson Sound. Y'all check that out.
Yeah. What about you, Reggie? What's up? Any projects going on right now that we need to catch up on real quick?
Not really. We're still working on the Mojo record. That shit's coming along really dope.
Yeah.
And no, nothing that I want to fucking talk about out loud.
Okay. Well, hopefully the Mojo interview coming soon, then. We got to lock that in for sure now that we're back in business.
Yeah, I talked to Trey for a minute the other day. He actually was like, "Yo, I fuck with the cast." He was like, "Your show is dope." And I was like, "What fucking show?" He was like, "Your podcast." I was like, "Oh yeah." So
Bro,
we
I
got
mean,
that
we haven't
locked
been
in.
doing shit.
We just got to set a date.
Okay, for sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, we haven't been doing a lot, but we're getting plays in still. People are playing the fucking episodes. Like, numbers are still climbing. I mean, cool, you know? It seems like maybe people are just like discovering it and going back, which you can do that with our
I think
episode.
niggas is bored.
Yeah, maybe.
I think everybody watched all the porn on the internet during quarantine, and now they ain't got shit else to watch and listen to all the Joe Rogans and shit. Now they stuck with us.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, Joe Rogan.
Well, you know, I like Joe Rogan.
Did you?
I met him in Austin at a Christmas party.
Oh shit.
He's short as fuck.
Then I mean, you're not like a super tall person, so that's like saying something.
He's like my height, if not a little bit shorter.
Yeah, that's exactly. And he talks like that's why he fucking has such a big mouth. But anyway, why don't we address our guests in the room here real quick? Fucking, we are back in business, and you know what we do. We talk to fucking creative types. We talk to artists. We talk to anyone who has a creative lifestyle that they are working at respectfully. I'm already high as shit. So we've already done the spiel. If you want to see You Ain't Heard of Us fucking rundown, you can go check back on the last fucking season or fucking any of our socials anywhere at You Ain't Heard of Us or Linktree/You Ain't Heard of Us. And today we got a particularly special guest to start the season off because, I mean, honestly, behind the scenes, you don't see him a lot, but he's definitely the most productive member of our team. And at its core, at his core, we could just call him a graphic designer for the show, but he's really helped shape and mold the show. So any visual aspects you see besides like the video are attributed to this man. And I mean, I've known about his work for over 10 years, and that's not even probably scratching his career. So yeah, we'll get into H Train. Henry Quiara in the building.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Oh, yeah. That's where I dropped the fucking siren effects and the air horns right there. Right. But yeah, fucking welcome, man.
Thank you.
I feel like it's been a long time coming for this one.
Yeah.
I know. How's it feel to like actually be on the motherfucking podcast as opposed to like being on the other side of the wall, so to speak?
It's actually just as comfortable, you know, because we're high. So it's not like just some regular podcast, you know what I mean? Like this is, you know, I know this podcast, so I feel comfortable. I feel at home.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Right. Well, you are at home, brother. You are at home.
Yeah. I
cool.
Kind of forgot again today because I was like, I don't know, I was a little tired this morning. I was getting some errands done and I was like, oh damn it. But then I remembered it was like the homies today. So I was like, man, this is gonna be fucking just like getting on the phone, you know?
Yeah.
Right. This is the way we normally talk.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested.
Go ahead.
I'm interested to know like how, I mean, like your origin story. Like, how did you start? Like, what even made you like know that this was some shit that you would be good at?
It just really goes back to my youth. It's just always been something that.
Let's start there too.
Something that I've done since I was, you know, probably as far back as I can remember, probably 3 years old. I remember getting in trouble. For it. My parents found a crayon drawing. It was a profile of a naked lady, and surrounded by some forest animals, some raccoons and stuff. And so you can see, you can see her boobs from the side, you can see her butt, you know what I mean? And so my mom found it in one of my drawers. I don't know how old I was, or where I got the reference, but she found it and was just disturbed by it. and she showed it to my dad, and he said some awful thing about, at least he's not drawing guys or something like that. But
right, yeah.
It was from there on, I think they kind of realized, that I was, just wanting to draw constantly all the time. I just grew up watching cartoons and just drawing those cartoons, in my way, the way I wanted, them to be. If I didn't like something about them or whatever it was, I just been drawing forever. It feels like.
Where are you from originally?
San Antonio, born and raised, San Antonio, Texas. Moved to Austin. What was it, 2000?
You did the right thing.
5 or something like that.
San Antonio's dope, man. I always tell people, like, when they ask me about Texas,
No,
I'll be like,
it's not.
Definitely go to Austin. Check out San Antonio for music and food and the Riverwalk and shit. Go to Houston if you know what you're doing, and don't go to
The
that.
Riverwalk.
The Riverwalk. I used to work at the Riverwalk, actually. I worked there for probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably 7 or 8 years, man. At the Kangaroo Court.
Oh yeah.
It used to be across from.
No shit.
I can't remember the name of the Mexican restaurant that was across
Mi
the way.
Tierra or some shit.
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
Well, it was close to there. It was close to there. Mi Tierra is actually up on the street level.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Yeah, that's true. You're right, actually.
Yeah.
Well, with the so you moved to Austin, but did you go to school for art or anything, or were you just kind of always doing it?
Since I've been drawing since I was a kid, I'd never really considered it. Like, I had art classes in high school,
right?
Like commercial art classes, which I hated.
Yeah,
because it was all assigned, and it felt like, it was being forced upon me, as opposed to just doing it at my will, how I wanted to do it.
Right, right.
You're going to probably find out through this podcast that I have a problem with authority, I think, in any form or fashion.
Right.
So
most artists do.
I took one course after I graduated from high school at a vocational school, but that was mainly to try and get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there's an art studio there now. That's where like Shaq and all those guys have their art studio. I don't know if you're familiar with San Antonio artists, but Shaq Vega and Soup Laws, who are part of the Los Otros Crews, who does all the like Spurs murals and stuff. Anyways, digressing. That was a school at one point. It was called Texas Vocational School. Okay. And they had welding classes, right. Commercial art, all kinds of different things like that. And they had a program that was supposed to place you in a job. They had job placement program, and that's what I was really going for, and to kind of get brushed up on all the different techniques and whatnot. What I found out was that school was just basically farming. It was farming people to a big warehouse that was basically, mass producing garment, you know what I mean? Like print garments. So it was just a farm, basically a farm of artists where, if you were graduating and you were placed in a job by this school, you ended up on the graveyard shift at this warehouse. So that was like a terrible experience that I wish I had never done. But
I mean, that's kind of what a lot of schools are to a certain extent. Just different fucking trades and careers.
Well, when I left the school, when I got my school diploma or whatever that thing is, I started calling around looking for jobs, and it was right when computers were starting to take over the graphic industry. Like a lot before that was like done by watercolor, black and white wash, pen and ink, airbrush, all kinds of photography, and a mix of all those different things. But the school where I was going was not teaching computer aspect of it, just traditional art, you know, how to make drawings big and watercolors and all markers and all that kind of stuff. So when I graduated, I started calling around looking for jobs, and I called the Express News in San Antonio, which is the exclusive paper in San Antonio. And they basically told me that they had fired or let go about, I don't know, a dozen artists, or cut their art department down from a dozen down to about 3, because you can do so much on a computer that it took, you know, a lot more people to do before. So when the dude started asking me if I knew how to use a hard drive and a floppy disk, I thought he was fucking with me. I was like, hard floppy, really, dude? Like, come on. I had no idea what any of that shit was. I had no idea what any of that shit was, dude. But I got this job at a packing plant, just doing like labor, just packing large rolls of vinyl at some big sign company. And they had an art department. And so every day after work, when I was done packing vinyl, I would go over there from 5 to 8, and I would sneak into the art department and jump on their computers and start using Photoshop and Illustrator and look at their books and see, you know, and just teaching myself, man.
Yes.
So that's
that's fucking resourceful and dope.
Yeah, and once I got good enough on that, I basically applied for a job that came up in that department and ended up working in that department on the computers, which was a hair-raising, like, first day on the job. I really didn't know how to use Photoshop that well yet.
Mm-hmm.
So like the owner of the company came in.
When was this? You might have already said, but
this was actually in the 90s.
Okay. Well, so yeah, I feel like I remember the old versions of Photoshop, like around like I remember being a kid using Photoshop in the 90s, you know?
Yeah. When I first used it, it was about 12 floppy disks that you had to shuffle to install it. Yeah.
I remember having the discs that did that. It'd be like, now insert this one. And you know?
Yeah, you had to sit there the whole time.
Yeah.
Install. It was nuts, dude. And then that department really opened up the world to me, like the world, like literally. I got to travel to, you know, Canada, India, you know, Thailand, all kinds of places, Israel. So I was basically training people how to use the company's proprietary software.
Okay.
The company was a sign company, and they built the machines that print those the vinyl billboards that you see everywhere now.
Okay.
And so they were not in the business of making signs. They were in the business of building equipment to make signs. And so they sold these printers and computer components in a package. And so this stuff would get shipped to like Dubai or, you know, Bombay or wherever. And then they would send 2 technicians out. The technician would go, one was for the machine. So like I had a partner and he would go and set up the pinch rollers and make sure all the electronics are good. In the meantime, I'd be training their art department how to use Photoshop and how to, in conjunction with the proprietary software of the company and stuff. So that was a whole nother level of shit that I was not even prepared for, dude. Like international travel, training people. I didn't go to college for this, dude. And I mean, I was making bank, dude. I had so many miles I could just give them away, dude. I had so many fly miles. It was insane, dude.
And you're like really getting a jump on the graphic design shit too.
It was nuts. It was nuts. I actually learned stuff from people that I was teaching. you know, different perspectives on things,
Right.
you know, different circumstances, how perfect they needed, whatever it might be. It was incredible to go to these other countries and hear about the lifestyles in these other countries. Like Bombay was like nuts, dude. Like I never want to go back ever.
Damn, it was that. It was
Yeah.
like what about it makes you not want to go back?
Well, first of all, the pollution is unregulated. So the air is just completely like, you know, LA is probably like clean compared to Bombay. And it's such an industrial city.
Shit.
Not only that, but it's there's no middle class. There's rich people and then there's poverty, you know? So like, it's really apparent too, because like the temples and everything is beautiful. It's surrounded by a giant wall and everything's clean inside. And then outside of that wall, everything is just like, it's like if an alleyway in New York City was to just be the whole city.
Right.
You know, like just trash.
That's kind of how New York City
shanty
is.
houses, like no underground storage. Disease, people like with leprosy, AIDS, rampant. Just, I mean, it was like, just stay inside. There was a mosquito malaria breakout when I was there.
Jesus.
Oh hell
Well,
no.
obviously
hell no. I'm
the
out.
job
And I got sick from drinking bottled water. I got water worms. One of the plants had been contaminated that processed water. I was sick for 4 weeks after I left India, dude.
Yeah, that sounds fucking awful.
Damn.
Yeah. But needless is to say,
well,
you
crossing Bombay off my
if you've never in your life gotten off a plane and then like kissed the ground, you will. If you ever go to Bombay, you will come back and you will literally kiss the ground, dude. Like that's what I did. I was like, oh man.
So how long did you do that for that company?
I was there probably close to 10 years.
Oh shit. Okay.
I was there for a good minute, you know, and
wow.
I went through a whole lot of departments and, you know, made it up to like, you know, managerial status and all kinds of stuff, you know, but you know, it was time to move on, you know, after a certain amount of time, you know, I wanted to just get it was a really demanding job.
Right.
Like super demanding, you know. If they had meetings with clients, you were expected to show up, you know what I mean? Like it could be your kid's birthday, but you can't miss this dinner with these clients, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You got hundreds of thousands riding on it, you know, and you know your kid might be having a birthday and you might be in a strip club. Schmoozing customers, you know
that's
what I mean?
fucked up too, because
yeah.
So what was the move after that?
After that, it was
decided to leave.
After that, it was basically the newspaper where I was going to go in the first place.
Okay. So you had something lined up?
What's that?
Something lined up?
I had nothing lined up.
You were taking a chance when you parted ways with that job.
I was really sick of it at that point, and I left.
That's usually how it gets. It's hard to make like a planned exit when you're just fucking like getting to the boiling point.
Yeah,
he's just like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
I applied at the newspaper, just cold turkey, just cold.
Yeah.
I just went up there and just filled out an application. And probably a week later, they call me in for an interview, and they sat me down at a computer. That's the ultimate test, right? They just like, you know, you can say all kinds of shit on paper, but you know, they put you in front of a mixing board or whatever it is in your profession. You better know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so they sat me down in front of a
I've had
computer.
somebody do that shit to me before.
Really?
That's
Put
why
you
I've
on-
learned.
Yeah.
I've
Like-
learned to like try and not show my hand and talk myself up too much before anything anymore, because you got to like have the expectations level, man.
Yeah, absolutely,
That fool,
absolutely. And I
that
mean, I wasn't really trying to like show up or nothing, you know. I went in there and did what I do, and
Right.
I mean, like they came back that same day, back into that room where I was in front of that computer and told me I was hired. So
Where? What paper and where?
Yeah.
this was in San Antonio, Texas. It's called the Express News.
Okay, still in San
It's the
Antonio.
exclusive
Mhm.
paper. There used to be two papers in San Antonio. One was called the San Antonio Light, Light.
Okay.
But they were absorbed basically by the Express News, which is owned by the Hearst Corporation. So,
Okay.
you know, there you go. Conglomeration
Mhm.
101.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I was at the paper for about 7 years.
Okay.
Same thing, you know, I worked my way up from being a design artist in the automotive whatever department, right? So I basically just clipped out cars for car ads all day and put car ads together for the newspaper. And then I
Sounds like fucking super exciting work.
it was easy, you know what I mean? It was
That's-
easy work, you know. For me, it was anyways.
Yeah.
And then I made it into the design department, which was a special team of designers that did things for events, special things for the paper, inserts and stuff like that. And then basically became the manager or the team leader of one of those teams, and then became the manager basically of that, one of the managers of that department. So,
okay.
and that's where I met my wife.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
was
So
her
I do
boss.
want to, before we get there though, I just wanted to ask, like, you say you got kind of tired of being at the sign place, or even though you were doing all the traveling, it was time to move on. Did you see like the paper was just somewhere you always wanted to work, or did you see it as like kind of an maybe an intro into like the graphic design world you want to be in, you know?
It just, you know, for me, it was like about benefits,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
getting, you know, something very steady.
And I guess more at home too.
Yeah. And just something with really good benefits, you know, and they had incredible benefits. There was a lot of art, like, I guess, houses or art, you know, independent places, but they didn't offer benefits, you know, much less good pay. They just, you know, they could do whatever they want, you know, but the paper is, you know, regulated. It's a corporation. You know, if you're good, they're going to pay you good. You know what I mean? Like you could get hired somewhere and you'd be good, but they feel like not paying you so much. And then, you know, why are you there? You know, you're not really gaining nothing from it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I feel you.
So yeah, the paper just seemed like a really logical thing. Like, you know, the paper comes out daily, you know, and it's every day. It's every day, every month, every year. It does not stop. It's a machine.
It doesn't stop. Yeah, it never fucking stops.
I met I don't know if y'all know DJ Jester, Filipino Fist.
No, but actually, hold up. Speaking of Filipinos, let's get Noah in here. Noah's waiting.
Nice segue.
That's a
I was
fucking
waiting
awesome
for it.
transition. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe he knows DJ Jester. Shit, I mean, he's pretty hip. What's up, man? Hey, wake up and turn your phone sideways.
Yo.
What up? What up?
Hey.
Yo.
Turn your phone sideways.
What it do?
Sideways. I'm still bad.
Oh, this fool's still laying down.
This nigga called in. In
Sure,
the bed.
that's the
It's like
minute
2
ago,
o'clock.
guys. Totally forgot. Oh,
Well, we don't
What's
let us
up?
You
keep
are
you.
fucking up.
no,
We're just
okay. I
Right?
might have messed up a little bit, but that ass made me forget.
it's all good. Well, we're in the middle of H Train's story right now,
Oh, good shit.
and he was talking about his DJ Jester. Do you know who DJ Jester is?
DJ Jester of the Filipino Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Knew you
Of
was
course, I
gonna
know
know
my
who
own.
it was, bro.
I know my own cousin, of course.
Well,
Yeah. That's actually I met him at the Express News when he was working there, and I was
okay, he was working there too.
Mm-hmm.
Super
Yeah.
inspirational.
That's a
Nice.
trip.
Small world.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of why I was there, you know, for the benefits, the stability, and to meet new people, I guess. I met,
yeah,
yesterday I met my wife there.
yeah, and you met
Your
your
wife,
wife
you
there,
met yeah.
Sarah.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I still talk to
That's
quite a few
dope.
people. Yeah.
Cool. And-
Online and stuff.
So you're there for 7 years, and where's the timeline at now?
After that, I went to the local alternative paper. There was a lot of changes happening at the Express News. It was time to go from that place as well. So I ended up at the San Antonio Current. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the San Antonio Current, but it's
I'm not.
the equivalent to the Austin Chronicle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So it's a smaller paper owned by a family. The company is Time Shamrock. They're based out of I think Detroit.
Oh, interesting. They cater more to the culture, the arts and music and stuff like that, kind of like the Austin Chronicle does. Because there's a hell of a fucking music scene in San Antonio.
I feel it.
Yeah, that was what was cool, was going from a big paper that was just glazing over local. Are you there still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was just glazing over really good talent, local talent, going to a smaller paper that was paying attention to, it was more community driven as far as the whole vibe of it goes,
Right.
So you're mostly original. That was during the time you lived in San Antonio, am I correct?
That is.
Okay, and that's obviously all before Applied Pressure and stuff, right?
Oh yes.
We haven't got to Austin
We
yet.
ain't even got there
Yeah.
yet.
No,
We haven't got there yet.
Because I'm just wondering if Scuba and the event Cloud Caps, was that also pretty inspirational for you as an artist as well?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Scuba's been a homie for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I didn't attend all the Cloud Caps. Maybe one, I think.
Yeah.
And then there was a big one. It was the biggest mural in Texas in San Antonio. It was at a street called Nolan, but I don't know if that was the Cloud Caps or not. I think that was put together by Cam.
Okay, it was a big affiliation with all those guys, including Scuba, all those San Antonio guys, because I know a few, legends from San Antonio myself. So that's why one of the reasons I didn't know that you had also originated from San Antonio. Good key point to remember,
Yeah.
You would have known that if you had been awake.
I woke up to that, so I was ready. I was ready with that. I keep swinging, bro.
I still have one of Scuba's business cards that it's from the Primates.
Yeah.
I am learning a lot about, because I've known about, like I said, about you or known you adjacently for over like 10 years now, but you have a fucking such a career before that. We're like, we have a lot of fucking years to cover. I just mean to say that you did a lot before you even got to Austin.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, after the Current, which was a local paper, my family started growing basically, and I couldn't sustain my family on what the Current was able to pay, because there was smaller paper and benefits were harder, and
I was wondering, were you doing any kind of freelance art and shit like in between these real jobs that you had?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole time I've been side hustling. I had an account with a couple of strip clubs in San Antonio that I had basically monthly checks from.
Nice.
Sugars in San Antonio. They had
about Sugars. Is the Sugars in Austin related? Because they had a Sugars in Austin too. Yeah, okay.
Yes. It's the same guy.
I used to DJ at strip clubs. What can I say, man? That's a good gig. It really is.
Man, they put food on my table for years, dude. So that was like my main side hustle, and then I did a bunch of CD covers and album covers for rappers and Tejano bands and just all kinds of metal. It was
the metal scene in San Antonio is I wanted to touch on that. I used to go down to San Antonio when I was a teenager to the White Rabbit, to fucking wherever, to go see metal shows all the time. It'd be crazy. There'd be metal shows coming to San Antonio and not coming to Austin.
Wait, San Antonio was dubbed at one point the metal capital.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking A. It's that fucking.
I didn't know that.
Oh, bro.
Sure. Definitely.
You ever go to a Slayer show in Texas? It's just taken over by fucking San Antonio. Doesn't matter where it is.
Didn't motherfuckers is coming.
Huh?
I'm listening.
Didn't Sepultura come from San Antonio too?
Are they from San Antonio? I'm not sure. Sepultura?
Yes. No, actually,
no.
Yeah, they are. I read that the other day. They're not?
Oh, shit.
They're not originally from San Antonio.
I know two members live there. Two of the members live there, and I didn't know if it might have been formed there.
We need a Google check. Sure,
hey, give me a second.
I got it.
Plug in. Sorry, man.
They're
good, brother.
Brazilian. From Belo Horizonte.
They're Brazilian, but I think they originally came together in some.
You might be right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was at the Max, maybe. Max Calavera.
Okay.
Sorry.
Also, Butthole Surfers. Butthole Surfers.
Yeah, fucking Butthole Surfers. Are they from San Antonio or Austin?
Yep. They're originally from San Antonio, but they came to Austin a lot, of course.
My mom used to fucking go check them out back in the day and shit. I know they would play emos, the original emos. I need to stop calling it the old emos.
The original
emos.
The
original emos. The OG emos.
But we digress. Let's get. I only wanted to get into that because I assumed you were doing some stuff within the local scene, as well. And I wanted to ask, did you write? Did you have a name?
No.
Was it always H Train or no?
No. I was never considered myself a writer.
Okay.
Or a graffiti artist or anything like that. I pretty much got sucked into commercial art, and
it's an interesting path.
I mean, at one point, I think the most spraying I was doing was with an airbrush. I had a gig at Fiesta, Texas once doing airbrush t-shirts.
Oh shit, yeah. Gotta love that booth, man. Go get your trucker hat, your white t-shirt, fucking decked out with Bugs Bunny and shit.
Yeah. But I never was afforded the opportunity to be in the streets, really getting up at all. Everything pretty much has always been behind the scenes with me from jump, which is cool with me, you know what I mean? Because I missed a lot of bullshit,
Right, not being out there.
It's a thuggish road.
Yeah, I know it gets real, dude. So And I've had my first kid was born in 1990, so I can't be fucking around in the streets, falling off of shit or getting capped or whatever,
My first interaction with the law ever was for fucking graffiti. I was like very young, and I fucking got in trouble. They caught me with a notebook and like matched my sketches to shit on the walls, and they charged me to clean up the whole fucking building. So it was like $800 for a fucking like 16-year-old and like some community service.
Oh, don't get me
pretty
wrong,
much man. After that, I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing this again.
Don't get me wrong. Just because I didn't consider myself a writer doesn't mean I didn't vandalize some shit.
Yeah. So where were we at the end of that? Yeah, the job wasn't paying enough. Right.
I was at the current. And then I left the current and basically just started doing freelance.
Okay.
And that's kind of like I had met Sarah at the Express News, and we were, by the time I was at the current, we were like involved. And so, she was working, and for, a good probably 2.5 years or so, I was just grinding. I had the stripper accounts, and I was doing albums, CDs, cassette, whatever, you know what I mean? Like I was doing all kinds of shit. I was doing like brochures for dentists, lawn care places, like whoever, whatever, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I didn't really advertise. I made some flyers and put flyers around some of the record shops in town. But I never advertised on a radio or TV or paid for any kind of media advertising.
You never put an ad in the newspaper after all those years?
No, man. I know how that shit don't work.
Right. You know the game on that. I'm not giving them motherfuckers nothing.
I think magazines are coming back again, dude. I think people are gonna start making zines again because like hard copies will be cool now that it's like fucking all the magazine companies like kind of crumbled. They don't really get your subscriptions anymore.
I don't think that's ever gone away, actually.
I mean, they still always got magazines like in the airport and shit. Like you go in the airport, the fucking magazine shit is still full. You know what I mean?
Or when you're traveling,
them niggas is still some.
Yeah.
Time all still popping.
People still buying newspapers, dude. What?
Yeah, well, I do think that local news is important because you're gonna get shit out of your local fucking newspaper that you won't get on any big news platform. Whether you're listening to either side,
you could get your local news online, right?
Exactly. What? That's the point I'm making.
But somebody's sitting there with a paper talking about.
Yeah.
Looking at you all weird and shit. Get your old ass out of here.
I'm like, where's your pipe at? Where's your smoking jacket?
You know what I'm saying?
That's
the same motherfuckers that keep the shoe shine guys.
I don't read on my phone though. I still read books. I've never read a book on my phone.
I do read books though.
Yeah, I have to read it.
I will listen to an audio book though.
That's just because my eyes are getting old.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, man.
Hey, man.
Thanks, man. Hell yeah.
Happy birthday to two of the players. So I got 2 players here with birthdays.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what? Day. Oh yeah, fucking shit. Happy birthday to you as well, man. Fucking me and Henry got the same birthday.
Y'all got the same birthday? Oh no shit. Oh, I didn't know that. Happy birthday to you too, my nigga. Shit.
Is it the same days or is it the same day?
Same day.
On the 8th.
Oh snap.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's a trip. And fucking I mean, I was born the same year as your daughter too, which is kind of crazy. We're pretty close together in age.
1990.
Yeah. When's her birthday? Well, I guess we shouldn't give the whole birthday away because then people will try and steal her identity. But
Yeah,
I wonder how close to
fucking
age we are.
weirdos.
Fucking, was she born in Austin or San
That's funny,
Antonio?
man.
San Antonio.
Okay, because I was born at St. David's in Austin.
Yeah.
Fucking, how'd you get to Austin?
Well, Sarah and I, once I got to work my way up at the Current, like from a same shit from an ad builder, I worked my way up to a managerial position.
Mhm.
So I managed the art department there at the San Antonio Current. And it afforded us to buy our first house. So we bought a house in Converse, Texas.
Converse, Texas.
Which is, I think, like Universal City or whatever.
Yeah.
It's out there by Judson High School.
Mm.
Anyways, we got a house out there in a suburb. You know, nice little 2-story house, you know, little brick face, you know.
Yeah.
Nice little starter house.
Mm-hmm.
But we were in there probably a couple years, and then the housing market crashed. And
yeah, I remember that.
They opened up the neighborhood to Section 8, and then the next thing you know, it was drunk people driving through my front yard, people tagging up the pool, people's houses getting broken into. It got real bad real fast, man. So we actually just bailed, man. We bailed on that spot and started renting.
We're trying to raise your kids there.
What's that?
Yeah.
We're trying to raise your kids there.
Nah, dude. Nah. Literally, somebody drove their car through my front yard, like over a median, and was driving drunk in my front yard, dude. So I was like, nah, man. We got to bail. So we lost.
The fuck out of here.
We lost our asses on that house. We were first-time buyers.
What did you say?
And you know, we didn't really know anything about buying a house. And so when the market crashed, we found out, you know, how like all of our money was going towards interest and none of it had gone towards principal. And we were just, you know, shelling out money for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and
basically.
Yeah. And so at that point we decided this is going to kind of lead into the bus story. We felt like we were not going to settle in one place again. Like we were not going to just be confined or restricted, you know, in any way. So we decided not to buy a house ever again for a really long time. And we started renting. And one day we were in that house in Converse and trying to figure out what to do. After talking to real estate agents and the IRS and the bank, everybody was like, hey, buddy, you're fucked. So we rented a YAHOU truck, and in the middle of the night, we loaded our shit and drove to Austin and got an apartment out there on out there by 290, South Congress 290.
Yeah. Okay, so on the south side of Congress, though, 290, yeah, for sure. Which is like now is fucking popping. They're getting rid of the fucking St. Elmo district and turning it. It's just a whole nother world over there now. But back then, that was definitely still kind of a lower middle class families over on that side of the highway.
Going on out there, dude.
And warehouses, basically. Well, I guess if you got far enough, there were a couple neighborhoods, but just right there, yeah, probably not much.
We live basically across from like the Broken Spoke, which is like a music.
Good, man. How you doing?
That old legendary music place.
No, okay.
Yeah, I feel you.
You're further down than I was thinking.
Yeah, way further down.
Okay.
All right, by like 290.
When was this?
This was like right after we left Converse. I guess must have been around 2005, I guess.
Okay, it's a little bit later because I'm thinking the Spankers are probably playing the Broken Spoke still around that time. My mom's band, the Spankers are probably playing there.
2006.
Cool. Okay, well that's a sweet fucking spot to be moving into Austin in fucking 2005.
It was the
And
worst.
what-
Yeah,
and
it's
what
what
changed?
you said
Apartment
that
complex.
time.
The apartment complex we were in constantly turned the water off without letting us know, and just it was hellacious there, dude. But we loved Austin.
But you're in. I'm saying location though, like where you're at, pretty fucking sweet place to be.
It was nice, man. It was really
Yeah.
nice as far as location and weather and what was around there. It was really nice. But then we ditched that apartment and we got a house on St. Elmo, on West St. Elmo, between First and Congress. So
Now that's the side of the highway I was thinking of. Yeah.
And so that was nice. I would just ride my bike into downtown like every single day. I put my kids in that little carrier thing and I'd ride into town, and we'd go to the music store or the bike shop or any of the shops along Congress, or it was amazing, dude. We could take our dog to the restaurant. There was shit you could do there you couldn't do in San Antonio, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
It was
location-wise,
that time there was not a lot of dog-friendly restaurants in San Antonio, but in Austin, it was like, whatever, bring your dog, smoke some weed, whatever.
They've been doing that shit in Austin. Yeah, smoke weed on the patio,
Yeah,
it's funny.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, that was a good time, man. There
especially not back then.
I remember
Now
South by those years, man, some of the best times. And particularly I remember South by Southwest like 05, 06, 07, just being fucking really good time.
Good years.
Yeah. And this is just a couple years before Mad Classes started popping off at Barcelona too. So are you incorporating into the music scene at this point, or the art scene somehow?
Well, I have to give a big shout out right now to my homie Kerry Alexander, who's going now by King Kerry.
Yo.
Osiris.
Yo.
Skinny Black. What up?
Yo.
So I got to Austin before him. He was still living in San Antonio. Kerry was. And he was doing a metal band in San Antonio. Is there anybody here familiar with Kerry Alexander?
Yeah, that's the homie, man. He was also a teacher at Dub Academy when it first opened. Heads up.
Osiris sounds familiar.
Kerry is also a guy who helped Blue Baptist do some mixing and mastering probably, and just done a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of. He's still amazing. Still.
This is why we got Noah here.
He's a hell of behind the scenes guy like me, but he's also on the other side too. Like he's performed and he's all around, dude. Amazing dude. So when I got to Austin, I was basically still doing work design wise for people in San Antonio, because that's where all my client base was at, just down the road. You know what I mean? So I was still doing a lot of stuff, and I didn't know anybody in Austin really, aside from some people I met at Zilker Park or whatever, you know what I mean? So a little while after that, Kerry moved from San Antonio to Austin. And when he did, he was roommates with another homie, Benzo, Lorenzo in a Benzo.
Yep. Shouts.
Now Benzo drinks Austin, or Benzo something.
Benzo's drinks,
right?
Right.
So those two homies, were doing stuff already. Like when they got to Austin, they were immediately doing stuff in the music scene. And then Kerry hit me up and asked me to do like a birthday flyer for him that he was having it at Barcelona. And that was basically my introduction into doing flyers there. I'll take the story farther if you want.
Shit, we got time.
At one point, it was, I think, a year into Mad Classy, and Kerry hit me up.
So
and I really wasn't doing anything for them at that point,
What are you doing for money at this time? Or is Sarah fucking keeping y'all afloat or what?
Well, she had solidified her business of the wedding photography, and I was basically her second shooter. So we were basically a couple doing wedding photography.
Tag teaming.
Nice.
And,
okay.
And we were making bank off of that shit, dude.
And at this point, you got the daughter taken care of, or do you only have two kids, right? The oldest and the smallest, or you have two? You have one in between, right?
What, like total?
Total, right?
Bro.
5, 6 kids? Holy shit, dude.
6?
Oh, okay. I feel like I've only met 2 and no.
I got 2 from a previous marriage.
Boy.
They're older, right? They're adults already.
God damn. The point I was making is you have the old one take care of the little ones while y'all are doing work, right?
Yeah.
God damn, man. Okay.
Well, you got to start in 5.
Reggie, you got to catch up, bro. What are you doing?
No, the fuck I don't. No, Reggie's saving. I'm saving up for a vasectomy right now, nigga. They don't do that shit on my ham, so I gotta save up, man.
He's like, choose a dove.
No,
choose a dove.
I'm done. I'm done. I am done, brother. I love them, but fuck that.
I feel you, Reg. I feel you, dude.
All right, so you haven't done anything quite yet for locally.
Mad Classy 1-year anniversary was my first
your introduction.
For Mad Classy.
That was with the
like
Benga and Scream. We're supposed
no, that
to
was 2.
that.
Well, I thought that was 2 year, the Benga and Scream. No?
Was that 2 year? I thought
that
it
was the first
year.
Okay.
That was the 1 year.
Okay, hey, that was a good time.
That was the 1 year.
Benga didn't show up.
Benga didn't show up. Benga didn't show up. Actually, at that show, at that same exact time of that show, I was set up a show with Daedalus and Quiara at Emos, and I was bouncing back in between, so I remember that.
I feel like I remember Daedalus being at Emos that fucking night, actually.
Well, I brought him and Gislam Poirier over to Barcelona because we couldn't get in because it was so packed.
Daedalus is a fucking weird ass dude.
He's badass.
Badass sets, just different for sure.
Legend, bro.
I remember a set of his at Nocturnal too that was fucking real dope. Maybe the second Nocturnal out there in Rockdale. But anyway, okay, so did you do that flyer?
No, man, I gotta give shout out now to Hunter Wilson, who was doing pretty much all of Mad Classy stuff for the full first year of it.
Okay.
Right.
And killing it. He was killing the game, putting out some amazing flyers and shit.
Right.
And at some point though, I don't know what happened with those guys, but it was just kind of a transitional stage where I happened to be in the right place at the right time. And Carrie basically hit me up and said that they needed a flyer for their anniversary. And I whipped it up, and but also Hunter had done one too. I guess not everybody was on the same page, and so I didn't even go to that show. But I don't know, months or weeks, whatever later, I still hadn't gotten paid for my work. And I think I had done 2 flyers for them. And so I just badmouthed them. I badmouthed Mad Classy
I remember
online. Dude, here we go. MySpace.
Yeah.
MySpace, dude.
Motherfucking MySpace.
Went on there.
Boys don't know about that MySpace.
Fucking just called them all kinds of shit and said, these motherfuckers don't pay. And just I tore their asses. And then Malu, shout out Malu. Malu gives me a call and she's like, yo, why are you saying this stuff? I ought to beat your ass or something. She was mad, right? And I was like, look, man, I need to get paid is all. And she goes, well, why don't you tell them, yourself? And I've been trying to get in touch with Justin, but homeboy's just giving me the stonewall, give me the cold shoulder. And so she said, I'll give you his number right now if you want to call him and you want to man up and call him. I was like, hell yeah, drop that number on me. So she gave me Justin's number, and I called him up, and he was all like, "Hey, what's up, man? Why you doing do?" And I was like, "Whoa, and we went back and forth a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? We had a little squabble on the phone, and then at the end of it, we just stayed quiet. He goes, "So you want to do some work for us or what?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you pay me." he's like, we'll bring you on. Like, we'll bring you on, like the payroll and this and that and the other. And I was like, "Nah, I don't want no part of no payroll, dude. Like, you just gonna pay me what I asked you for. Like, that's it. You know, if I want more or less, whatever, we're not gonna do there's not gonna be no signing of shit. We're just gonna do some designs." And the rest is history. I mean, I did a fuck ton of flyers for Mad Classy. We designed their logo. And through them, I met a lot of other people, because, you know, they were constantly bringing in acts from, you know, overseas and, you know, all over the United States.
Everywhere.
So this was before I was traveling. So that's how I was kind of getting, you know, these connections, doing work for people in other states and even countries. So what started off, you know, we started off on a bad foot, but it actually turned out to be a good opportunity to link in with a lot of people and stay relevant and, you know, keep up on, you know, how to party really hard.
Yeah. I mean, years down the line, Shane, shouts to Shark Week is still, you know, he created this relationship too.
Yeah. Shout out Shane, Chongo, and J.E.
Yeah. The Mad Classy episodes are dope. If anyone wants to go back and listen to them, they're audio only, but we did do the first smoke session, which is on our YouTube channel. You Ain't Heard of Us. And there's episode 1 of the smoke sessions with me and Irie Samurai, but we will be covering more of those years, the Mad Classy stories. Shane will be on there because he's part of the smoke session crew. And if anyone wants to kind of go down a pretty interesting rabbit hole of history, they can go back and check that shit out.
Also the Chongo one, you got the Chongo one.
The Chongo episode's dope as fuck, too. And I'm sure we'll have Chongo back on too. Just a lot of you know, even though it's local in a sense, like you said, like there's so many international connections and just different connections that happened through those days of dub and dubstep and bass music and fucking electronic music at Barcelona at the Basscape. It's just good fucking times. And no shit, me too. I saw a picture today of Kylie took. Shouts to Kylie. She took some badass pictures over the years at Barcelona.
Saw that photo? Yeah, that photo looked good.
Yeah, you saw that. That was dope. So anyway, obviously it led to a bunch of relationships with you. I mean, where do you want to go from here to how you ended up on a fucking bus traveling the country out of Austin? You want to kind of segue into that and tell us, you know, how you decided to move around from, obviously you planted some roots in Austin and then from there decided to move again. I know I get that itch once every fucking 2 weeks, it seems like.
I think it was more, it was a bigger shift, besides, you know, just wanting to travel.
Totally.
It was everything. Like, we had made it, you know, we were in Austin, we were living in a nice 2-story house, renting it, of course, because we didn't want to buy. You know, I had, we had the wedding gigs. I had all the side hustle lined up. Everything was great, like, for years. But then, like anything, you know, it all starts to get old, you know, like everything, not just, you know, being in one place, but doing the same thing. You know, we did the photography for like 10 years. Well, Sarah did it for 10 years. I probably was in there like 8 of those. But yeah, we were in a suburb at the ass into Austin, you know, south. We ended up out in Menchaca.
And it's getting more expensive to live there too.
What's that?
It's getting more expensive to live every fucking where.
Yeah.
Totally.
but we were just, after a while, I felt like we were just going through the motions, and like we were just treading water, you know, like we were just doing the same thing. Like we were making a pretty good amount of money. Like we were not hurting really for money. We were making good money off the weddings and stuff, but we weren't spending a lot of time with our kids, because wedding photographers shoot on weekends, and the kids have school all week. So our window of time was like Monday through Friday from 4 to maybe 9.
Interesting. Is that like a thing? Like if you get a weekday wedding, you're like, oh shit, badass. About somebody has a wedding on a Monday, and it's just like, oh, nice.
It was very rare. I think in the 10 years that we did, we probably shot maybe 2 weekday weddings on a Thursday or something.
If I have a wedding, I'm gonna have that shit on a weekday.
On a Monday?
Yep. I'm not trying to give my weekend up. Fuck these.
Right, do that shit on Monday, party all weekend, do the bachelor party, and then on Monday, you fucking get married.
And there was a
7
lot
a.m. too. I'm not trying to give my whole day up. I'm like Bernie Sanders at Joe Biden's inauguration. Like I got other shit to do.
Got other shit to do, man. I got places to be right after this.
I was drinking way too much, man. I feel like during those times.
Me too. What? Yeah. At the same time, I guarantee it. I was a degenerate fucking alcoholic. 100%.
I mean, when you're, in the weekends, you're, or during the week, what was it like certain Sundays, right? I could be at Barcelona, drinking my ass off. And then if I was working the next Sunday, I'd be at a wedding, drinking my ass off. I mean, it was just, I was surrounded by alcohol. It was a big part.
Yeah. I'm not trying to like give a speech. Alcohol culture is, it's kind of just not as cool as it seems like it is when you're in it.
Yeah, true that, man.
Right.
I'll smoke to that.
Right, I'm about to load a bowl right now.
I'll smoke to that.
But yeah, so a lot of things, obviously. It's another buildup, like we were talking about earlier. Sounds like kind of just.
So we got to shoot weddings all over the place. Like we shot in Puerto Rico, we shot in Thailand, we shot. I started traveling again. We were traveling again, but we were just not seeing our kids.
Yeah.
And they were growing up really fast. And then my wife looked at me one day and she said, "Do you want to sell all this shit and just get the fuck out of here?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's just sell all this shit and get the fuck out of here." Like we felt like our stuff was owning us. Like we had so much stuff.
Right.
So many things that we didn't need, so much, everything was just kind of spread out thin. And we needed to like just basically like refocus and trim the fat, you know what I mean? So to say.
Yeah, been there.
So yeah, it was 2015 and we packed all our shit. We sold all our shit over a couple of weeks period,
Right.
So some of our shit is probably still there in Austin at other people's houses.
Dude, we were doing this shit at the same time too. I remember us talking about this because I was doing the same thing when you were doing it. I was purging. I was getting ready to go to fucking Hawaii, and then I was going to California, and I wasn't coming back. It took a few years to actually do that after that, but in 2015, that was my whole mindset. I was like, get rid of everything. I think at the end of it, I had some instruments, a crate of records, my computer. I put all that shit in storage, and I took my fucking Subaru and fucking left.
That's the way to do it sometimes, is just fucking do it.
Yeah. And when you do it once, you're conscious about it later. You don't want all this shit. What do I need all this shit for? If I don't have someone to give it to, it's just gonna be here when I die. What the fuck is the point of that? Like, so I'm always just like, I got too many things, like, like, and but yeah, I can empathize with the feeling, you know.
We definitely
And,
kept some stuff.
Yeah, necessities for sure. Do you have a storage like at the time when you were like gonna take off? What was the plan? Did you know you were gonna get a bus or what?
No, we decided to do something really fucking insane and go tent camping for 6 months straight.
Wow.
So we bought
with 5 kids.
We didn't have fits, so
Okay.
we had 3. We had 3 at the time, and Marley was our youngest at the time. She was like 2, or she was still pretty small.
Yeah.
And we had tent camp probably twice before that, completely unsuccessful. Burned out of the tent one time by the sun, and then another time the wind collapsed our tent. So it was really crazy for us to do some shit like that. But that's what we did. We bought a tent, lanterns, a little refrigerator, just everything we needed for camping. And we started traveling across the United States. We didn't have anything lined up. We had no fucking plan. We were just like, go. Like, just let's just dump all this shit and get some money in our pockets and go and see what happens. Like, so people thought we were fucking nuts. Like, how are your kids going to get educated? How is this going to happen? How's that going to happen? There was a lot of resistance from family and friends and stuff like that.
I can imagine.
Initially, we wanted to go to Europe. We wanted to go live over there, and travel internationally. But
totally.
That seemed like pretty risky, not having any lifelines at all, and no plan. Going to Europe was a lot riskier than the United States, because in the US, if we fucked up, we could just turn around and go back.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We could go back to our respective hometown or whatever, and get things going again. But when you're in another country and you don't know the laws and the languages, it's a bigger risk. So while we felt like we were taking a big risk, challenge, it wasn't the risk that we were even initially thinking about.
Right.
So we tent camped for 6 months straight, all across the US. Didn't make it into Canada the first time, but we went from the West Coast to the East Coast and every place in between, all the way into Florida and then back to Texas. Wow. And then we decided that, the tent was not good enough. I mean, like, when it rained, it was, it was wet inside. It was too cold, too hot. It just wasn't, we were done with that, and we needed something to travel in. And we looked at RVs, but RVs are expensive, and they all look the same, and they fall apart, and it's just not worth investing in, in our opinion.
Right.
And we saw a bus. We saw somebody in a bus, and then we got the idea from there, and we found a bus junkyard about 25 minutes out of San Antonio. Paid like $2,800 for it.
Okay.
And
that was more than I was thinking, honestly. But I mean, I don't know how much buses cost.
$2,800 was not a bad price.
Yeah.
Okay. For a bus. I mean, the transmission alone is worth $1,500.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So we just got that bus and started looking online and how to build shit and how to do plumbing and electrical and all that shit, dude. We bought the lumber, we bought the wires, we bought the tools, we bought, everything we needed, and basically posted up in New Braunfels, Texas, and built that bus out in a 6-month period. It was a 38-foot long bus. And we were done with it. It had couches, beds, bunk beds, sink, stove, bathroom, shower, tub, drawers, closet.
Wow.
We had a tub in the first one. Yeah.
Nice.
We've had 2 buses now.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we were done, we had all that, dude, and we were ready to hit the road, and we did, and it was amazing, dude. Like, it was amazing to have our house on the beach.
That is really dope.
On the West Coast, you know what I mean? Like, or on the East Coast, or any place amazing,
Yeah, I was listening to fucking, I think Wee Man was talking about how he decided to start doing the van life or whatever, and he fucking would, just say, like, if I needed something new, I just drive somewhere overnight, wake up in the morning to something totally fucking different. And
Absolutely.
that idea of that is just, you know, like, you get tired of the people, just fucking go somewhere else.
Well, once we were in that second bus though, you know, my wife Sarah had a plan to take us cross country and photograph families. So she became a portrait photographer. And that's basically what fueled our travels for the 5.5-ish years that we were on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, my side gig, I did a lot less art, you know, once we started traveling. And it just, you know, it wasn't something that was like, it was like grocery money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So art kind of, it took a back seat. It was kind of, it's hard to design when you're on the road. You know, I didn't have an office.
Yeah.
I still managed to do a bunch of shit, you know what I mean? But it just kind of, it wasn't the main, you know, it wasn't the main thing. But it was cool because I was enjoying the break from it. From, you know, I was getting sober. I was seeing shit, learning shit, and spending time with the kids. We were spending time with our family, which was the goal.
Right.
So everything kind of came together when that happened. You know, we sort of became, you know, a unit, you know, just full on. You know, you spend every day with each other.
Right.
And some people can't hang with that shit. You know, when we got out of Austin right in time, we could have easily stayed there another 5 years.
And how many fucking kids grow up with parents who use their fucking job or whatever it is just to fucking not be parents? And a lot of people will see a family who makes good money, they have a nice house, their kids are fed, but that's not even what's fucking important. Like, you know, the kid needs to fucking be with their parents, fucking actually have parents. And yeah, man, for sure. Something to be said about that.
Yeah, no, it was really cool, dude. I mean, it was like freedom, you know. But with freedom also comes, you know, the same bullshit that comes, you know, when you're living in a house, you know, shit breaks. You gotta deal with it, you know. But financially, we realized that we could make it on 3 times less what we were making it on. You know what I mean?
I've been doing that fucking math for a fucking few years. Like, man, if I get rid of this rent, it's basically how much gas do I need to cook today, or like if you don't even have to go anywhere, you just need the fuel to fucking power your fucking appliances. You're good.
Well, we have solar on it, so
solar,
we don't have to run a generator.
Right.
only on days when it's raining or cold. But I mean, you know, even then you could just pull over and plug into shore power, because we could plug in you know, we could go to an RV park if we needed to.
And even there's like different degrees of trailer parks and RV parks across the fucking country. Some of them are like a couple $100 a month, you know, and they'll have like the power and shit, right?
Yeah. Well, we were your neighbors up there at the Humboldt County Fair for like 6 months, dude.
Right. I know.
6 months, dude, in that on the fairgrounds, dude. Which was
that was like right at the pandemic, right? Like,
yeah. Well, we were the first part of the pandemic. We were in Texas in New Braunfels, and we were getting ready to embark on our yearly travels and do our thing, you know. And it, you know, it all came apart, you know, because nobody, you know, wedding photographers, bam, got slammed. You know what I mean? Like all weddings were canceled.
Totally. Yeah.
Immediately. I know a couple in San Antonio.
Immediately.
The husband's a wedding photographer and the wife is a wedding planner. So they were like stuck like Chuck for a minute when the pandemic hit.
Right.
So that's why I say I think we could have easily stayed in Austin another 5 years and stayed in the wedding industry. But we would have been hit hard by the pandemic right then.
Yeah.
We probably, we would have been out of work quick.
Yeah, I gotta count all the blessings
instantly
for last year.
Yeah.
Any of them, anything.
So we just kind of hunkered down the first part of the pandemic in New Braunfels, staying at Sarah's mom's place. They have a ranch. So we parked the bus out on the ranch and just kind of lived there. And,
Okay, cool.
you know, Sarah did some photography and some design work, and I was doing my hustle. And, you know, we got the unemployment thing going, and, you know, we just waded through it. I started making some t-shirts for COVID and shit. And, you know, it was,
Mhm.
he's got something there.
I got that one right there still. Can you see it? There it is.
Yeah.
Converse.
Conspiracy theories. Trust no one.
Yeah, conspiracy theory.
I'm gonna put that one on the back of the
That's
town
dope.
car, man. Jordan won't let me, but I want to put it on the back of the town car.
Don't put that shit on the car. You tripping. That's funny.
So let's just kind of just wrap up that period. You know, like what we really like to talk about is how you pivot to live the life you want to live. I mean, you're a fucking blatant example of that, dude. You and your family.
You're probably one of the best. Yeah, like I didn't even know this shit, bro. It's that's crazy. Like to not only
taking the
make
dive,
the decision,
fucking
and pulling it off.
Yeah, no shit. And well,
We
you
had some doubters.
Yeah, well, there always will be. And you know, like
Yeah, of course.
Some people don't really understand being self-employed is one thing, owning your own business, but being a fucking artist, self-employed is a whole nother thing. And it really takes, you're always working. It might not look like you're working to someone who fucking goes to a normal ass job, but you're always working in your head. Like, how the fuck am I going to do this? Like, and if you have
right.
God forbid you don't have a safety net, you know?
The one word I have is integration. Integration. If you can integrate, you know, your lifestyle into your career, if you can integrate it all, you know, somehow. Oh no, fell asleep.
He fell asleep.
Bed, boy.
He went out. The pandemic's over in Austin. I guess they just fucking partying and sleeping in again and shit. So
yeah. Everybody's back outside like it's normal and shit, which is why please
say what you were going to say about integration, because this is valuable information for people to hear this.
Yeah, integration. Basically, you know, we wanted to be able to integrate our kids into our work, basically, you know what I mean? Like figure out a way to work and be with them at the same time, you know? So I'm gonna say that like luck has a lot to do with that too, because not everybody can do integration. If you're in a relationship and you want to sell all your shit and jump in a van and go cross country, but your significant other doesn't, then you know you're stuck like Chuck.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
The fact that we were on the same page and willing to take those risks together was a good part of making that integration work.
Totally.
But you know, there's degrees to which you can integrate, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to go full on, you know, leave everything and go full on rebellious. You know, you can just find ways to do it, you know,
right,
or you know, all the time.
Welcome back.
But you just don't always think about it, you know what I'm saying? Like you're living your life, you're doing your thing, you're going hard, and sometimes you just blow past stuff, you know,
right,
and you don't really realize it until after you've passed it, and then you're like, oh shit, you know, I should have, you know, I should have been more awake for that shit, you know.
Well, I think that one thing we really need to address too is y'all did this like after you had a fucking solid almost 2-decade career in like real legit graphic work and or design or whatever, and then you did that. So it's like you might regret not doing something like what y'all did when you get to like kind of the end of your story, and taking those chances are really necessary, I think, to tell that story. And another thing I think is really interesting too, if you've got your kids along for the ride, is like you're kind of prepping them for the world that the kids are creating. It's not the same anymore. You don't just go to school and go to a 9 to 5 anymore. Like it's really, you're able to be creative with your own path these days. A lot easier than you were when you were a kid, or when my parents were a kid, or even when I was kind of like teetering there a little bit. Like I'm still, a millennial by definition, but I'm a little older, on the older side of the millennials. And I've loved the fucking world that the youth are creating, where they're really just free to do whatever you want. And I think that having your kids along for your ride like that is kind of prepping them to be ready to like be independent of that, make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a woman when we were on the road ask us, well, we were at a planetarium or some shit, or an observatory. We're at a McDonald observatory.
Okay.
Standing in line talking about homeschooling to somebody, and some older couple overheard us, and the lady turned around and said, I don't mean to be rude, but like, how will your kids learn like trigonometry? And we're like,
how the fuck do you need to know trigonometry for, bro?
When they need to use it, when they get a career that, surrounds geometry, and trigonometry or whatever, if they become astronauts, I don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a weird question. I think it just it was an extreme question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she could ask, like, well, how are you, do your kids follow a curriculum, or how are you teaching them, or what? But I think she was just trying to make it a short conversation and throw out like the hardest fucking math she could think about. I probably could have put her on the spot and asked her to, trigonometry right then and there.
No shit.
Would she have known?
Yeah, exactly.
I could ask her, well, do you know trigonometry?
Probably
right,
not.
Right. And my first thought with homeschooling is like the social aspect, like the one thing I can attribute to my public school experience was just getting socialized with a lot of different people. But it wasn't even until I was old enough to drive like into fucking Austin and hang out with kids in the city that I really got exposed to culture. Driving your kids around the fucking country is the best exposure to culture you could have. That was my main concern, but I'm not that.
It was definitely a wake-up call for me, because as a kid, my parents' idea of traveling was Corpus Christi or Mexico.
Go on down to the fucking Galveston beach and stay in a condo for a week and stare at a fucking hot tub.
That's it. That's it. Like,
you have to go on tour every fucking summer for a few years. I went on tour with a band, like I got lucky, man, for sure.
Well, not only that, but I mean, like looking at, being places like the actual Grand Canyon, the actual Statue of Liberty, the Liberty Bell, a lot of these monuments and things, you find out, if you're me, that the shit that they taught you in school omitted all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All the true stories, you know what I mean? Like, it was like what? Like the guy who did this, built this was, a Nazi, or, you know what I mean? Like, you learn all kinds of shit that you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That you don't learn in school, like about Mount Rushmore and the Liberty Bell and the Statue of Liberty, things that they don't talk about,
Right.
In school, they're like, yeah, the French built it and they gave it to us with a bow on it, and it's real pretty.
Yeah.
But, they don't talk about, like the real story behind it, and I don't know, you just, if you
real
go places,
the real dark side of the stories.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big problem, I think, that this country has right now, had is trying to gloss over the fucked up shit.
Yep.
Like, it's just crazy, you know what I mean? Like,
like
Texas made a move to like
eventually
take slavery out of the history books.
Yeah. And they let them do this shit too.
Like it didn't happen.
Fucking crazy.
I know and talk about fucking a psyop. Like, we're just gonna wipe the memory of the fucking the kids. Like, in Germany they talk about the fucking Holocaust every day at school.
Well, that's the thing, That's the thing, you know, if you can acknowledge, you know, that's all I think that people want is acknowledgement and knowledge, you know, the knowledge that it did happen and the freedom to remember it, because hell, some of it just happened yesterday.
Yeah, some of it is happening as we fucking speak.
As we speak. Yeah. But you know, that's the thing, like, is that, you know, there's a half the country that thinks like knowing this stuff is tarnishing the country's image. And it's like, you know,
the country's image
throw
is
people under
tarnished.
the bus to save face, you know what I mean? Like, who we trying to save face? Who we trying to save face to?
There's definitely still plenty of NorCal and Southern Oregon people up here flying the rebel flag proudly. So they're not going to let their history die. Show you that. They just don't seem to know where they are.
Their history.
So I mean, you know, you people. What I'm discovering now is like some people live their lives completely in the dark about all this. Like they don't know. You know, like
don't want to know.
People would always ask me like, hey,
legitimately don't want to know.
Right.
If people ask me like what do you carry for protection in the bus? Was something that came up a lot. You know, do you have a gun? What kind of gun do you have? I was like, dude, I live in like a bus. I'm not about to pop off a gun inside of my bus with my family present, dude. Like, dude, are you crazy, dude? Like, it echoes when we shout in there. Like, I'm not about to, and I don't want to carry a gun. You know, I'm traveling across state lines, across international lines, going to Canada. You know, there's all kinds of restrictions and regulations, you know. But people would tell me like, well, man, you need to be careful out there. I'm like, man, you don't know the neighborhood I grew up in, dude. Like, like we had in the 5.5 years we were traveling, we had one incident where one lady came up to the bus and was scratching on it on the front door, and she was just like tweaked out on something. But it was like 4 a.m, so I was in my underwear and I grabbed the closest thing I could find, which was a machete. So as soon as I pulled the front curtain open,
that's a viable
saw
weapon.
some dude standing there in his underwear holding a machete, and she was like, and she bailed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
he did not expect to see that shit.
Nah, she was like, her buzz went down real quick. She was like, what?
That's real. Machete's all you need. I'd be maybe scared of like animals if you were staying in the, you know, in the desert or something. You might get a coyote or a fucking rattlesnake or something.
I think people overhype shit all the time, dude. Acting like, dude, we stayed in shady Walmart parking lots, dude, with tweakers surrounding us like sharks, dude, and just slept like babies, dude. Like, you can't be scared. You can't be running around scared of people, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to be ready to take action when something happens. But you don't have to be like,
but you can't live your life
judging
scared.
people. And I mean, you know what people are.
And be respectful of your surroundings.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not everywhere is your home. Don't act like you're at your fucking home when you're fucking somewhere you've never been before.
Exactly. That's how you get fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we traveled all across the United States and Canada for 5.5 years, dude. And the people who gave us the most trouble was the cops.
Absolutely. I'm sure.
We saw them more than anybody. They just come up on the bus and, oh, you got to move, or, you know, this or that or the other thing, you know. In Austin, Texas, during Christmas one year, we went back to visit family, and we were parked on the north side out by some Sarah's sister's apartment. And the apartment managers from across the street called the law on us and told them that we had kids in the bus that were cold and we didn't have a heater and all kinds of shit. They didn't even know. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And the cops came in there with, like, you know, like cowboy style, you know what I'm saying? Like, ready to pull their pistols. Right. And I got my family in pajamas and shit, you know. And they made us go out of the bus and into the cold. So when I didn't have kids freezing, now I do. Now I got kids
because
on
you're
the sidewalk. And these two officers are telling me to take my shirt off so they can look for tattoos. I mean,
Jesus.
you know,
Where you said this was in Austin?
in Austin.
Terrible.
Yeah, man. I mean,
That
so
sounds
you know,
about right.
you know,
Sounds about right.
I'm not worried about people, regular people, man. Regular people are just regular people.
Mhm.
There are some crazy people out there, but you know, you just gotta be awake. You know, you gotta know where you're at,
Right.
what you're doing. You know, so you don't always, you don't gotta be
The fuck away
packing
from
all
me.
the time. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to have a gun for protection in your home, like if you got a reason, right? Like if you got a shitload of cash sitting around, or you got fucking bags of weed sitting around, or whatever, then you got people. You know, that's a reason. You know, but if you don't have a reason, like I don't have a reason. You know, like who the fuck is after me? Nobody's after me, dude. There's nobody gives a fuck what I'm doing, dude. I was doing laundry an hour before this shit, dude. Who the fuck? Who's coming
Straight
after
up.
me? I mean, let him fucking come.
Straight up.
That's what I always say when they talk about them, people watching you and getting the, I got my microchip
this
implanted
crazy shit,
recently
dude.
and shit, my double dose of microchip. Like, man, if they want to implant a fucking microchip in me, life is short. Like, let's go. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm not that interested. I promise you, there are people more interested than me.
That's why I say when they tell me like, oh man, they're always listening through your phone. I'm like, well, they hear my kids screaming all fucking day then.
Yeah,
you know
no
what I mean?
shit.
They hear me feeding my dog, fucking smoking weed and shit. Just I mean, what?
Yep, they're watching me right now.
I gotta roll another blunt. They're watching me right now. Oh no.
So what are the plans?
Digressing, back to the COVID thing. After we left New Braunfels, we just made a straight beeline for NorCal. To be we wanted to live in Eureka originally.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I know
home of the Mr. Bungle and Mike Patton and fucking Lumber.
You know what's crazy? We didn't meet in Austin. Sebastian, we didn't meet in Austin.
That's why I say I might have known you adjacently because I mean, obviously.
And I'm sure we were in the same places at the same times, but
actually like met, yeah, maybe not.
I don't think so. I heard about you through Shane, and then it all started to click. But by that time, I was already leaving the scene. I was already
right.
We were getting ready to bail, and so there was so many nights I wanted to go to the smoke sesh at Flamingo, dude. I was so jelly on those nights, dude. I was like, damn, I want to be out there, But yeah, no, like we just decided to get out of Texas and go live in Cali. Like that was our plan, was to live in Cali and basically switch over to like building buses and selling them. Like that was our business plan, And so the second half of the pandemic we spent out there and, discovering Eureka, Arcata, the Redwoods, the 101, just enjoying the shit out of life, for that time, and it got expensive,
Totally.
There was so many reasons why we couldn't get into a house, right? One was the dog, the other was like that, the bus was so big, having so many kids, you know what I mean? Like it was not affordable. People wanted to charge us an insane amount of money. So we started looking and we saw like New Mexico was pretty cool. We looked at Albuquerque and but we had a place lined up in Albuquerque, but that fell through and we had to move quickly. So we ended up in Las Cruces and that's where we're at now.
Right.
Oh,
right between.
What's that?
I love Las Cruces.
Yeah, it's cool here, man. I think I don't know if I prefer living in Albuquerque or not, but I know there's a little bit more going on.
Of a city vibe.
Like Las Cruces is kind of sleepy compared to Albuquerque.
Yeah, Albuquerque's pretty too. I like driving
right
there. We got
yeah, it is
the
pretty.
mountains are here. There's mountains here. It's a little big city. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a lot of industry here. It's not too hot, actually.
Nice.
It's really not too hot. It's always windy, so you get some breeze going on. You don't get that hot, humid, sticky heat. You know what I mean? But man, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I've met a couple of growers now down here, so I'll link you up.
Nice. Yeah, I'll check them out on Instagram and shit.
There's mad weed industry down here, dude. Like,
that's what's
it
up.
is. There's a lot of medical going on out here. A lot of high grade shit.
Cool. Yeah, I gotta come fucking. I'll visit a fucking New Mexico weed farm when I'm fucking driving down to Texas next time. Fucking so are y'all working on the bus? Are you planning to do another bus, or talk about that community? Because I know you have the Good Luck bus thing going, and I know it's kind of a community, right? People who travel and live on buses. Yeah. A little booming community.
It's pretty eclectic too. I mean, there's everyone from people that have money to people, they're just doing it to have an adventure, to people who have lost their homes or whatever, who basically can't afford to live anywhere else. And they're just doing like whatever they can. But right now we've put the building plans on hold. If you haven't heard, the price of lumber and basically any type of building material that includes iron, steel, wiring, any kind of components, anything that's building material has gone up in price because of a lot of shutdowns, manufacturer shutdowns during COVID. And a lack of supply.
They say it's supposed to bounce back.
And also there was a huge wood infestation this year or last year, I guess, that knocked out a big percentage of the lumber manufacturing from a certain area. I don't have all the details on that, but I know that also.
I got a guy. I got a guy, the lumber guy. I'll hit him up, see what's going on.
Oh, you got a lumber guy? You got a lumber guy? Really? You got a lumber guy? Fuck out of here.
Got my porcelain guy too. I'll double check him.
You don't know about my ties.
Y'all don't know about my wood plug.
my Marlboro folder.
That's gotta be slang for something else.
Well, where did
my marbles for the bathrooms?
If people are interested in the bus designs and shit, is there an Instagram specifically for that they can go check out? For just
yes, if there's actually an old account that's like not really active anymore, but it does have the old school bus on there and a lot more building photos and stuff on there, and that's called The World Is Our School. So it's Instagram at The World Is Our School.
Okay.
It's kind of long and whatever, but it served its purpose. And right now it's the Good Luck Bus on Instagram and Facebook,
Good Luck
Twitter.
Bus. Okay.
So across platforms, it's the Good Luck Bus. And the plans for building, the plan was for this company is to convert buses in our style,
right,
and sell them. And what fueled this was our success with the first bus. We spent $12K on it. That's including the price of the bus. That was for the full build, price of the bus, solar, everything.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. I mean,
$12K. We sold it for $38K.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
After living in it for 2 years. So that was a good. I mean, it was bucks. You know what I mean? Like we took that money and we bought a van, and we bought laptops and iPads and all kinds of shit. We moved to Mexico. That's part of the equation that I left out there. We lived in Mexico in the Yucatan for like 4 months, and that's where our youngest was conceived.
All right.
So what happens in Cancun doesn't necessarily stay in Cancun.
You came back over, and
Cancun might have a kid when you leave.
Yeah.
Did you come back over and have him in Austin or San Antonio or something?
He was born in Austin.
Austin, cool.
Yeah. He's the only one I think that was born in Austin. The other ones were born in New Braunfels.
Were you born in Austin, Noah?
No.
Man, I'm the only fucking OG.
I've just been here for like most of my life.
You are the only born and bred Austinite.
The native.
It's getting longer and longer now, man. Like, I mean, I've lived in that shit in fucking 4 or 5 years now because I'm 31. So it's not like I can really claim it as much anymore.
I lived here as long as Sebastian's
You went
been
the
alive.
other way.
There you go.
You went the other way. All the fucking Californians are coming here, and you went your ass to California.
And Texans are going to California.
Huh?
Yeah.
Everybody's swapping places.
I said all the
people that live in California want Texas government, and the people that live in Texas want California government.
Yeah. A lot of Austinites go to Colorado too, but not for long with their little dab law. They're changing it so you can only buy a 1/10 of a gram of a dab at the dispensary.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I dropped 1/10 of a dab on my shirt. I take a real dab.
I just gave away my dabs.
Fucking. I
want to heat up a plumbing pipe and hit it up. I just use a 3/4 inch PVC pipe and just fill it up with dab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just.
I thought you were talking about like the old method of making it when you get the copper pipes and the fucking and the butane.
Yeah.
But so where you I was gonna ask, any particular like art projects or designs that stand out over the years that you just like me asking you right now that come to mind that were really dope that you want to talk about, or you know, or any experiences in particular?
I mean, back in the day when I was still living in San Antonio, I met up with this cat that was doing the shows, doing the stage and production for summer and winter jams in San Antonio, cool. Which were thrown by a radio station back then called KTFM.
I'm pretty sure I fucking remember Summer Jam.
They brought a lot of people, LL Cool J, Casey and JoJo, South Park Mexican, Destiny's Child. I mean, just Eminem, just all kinds of people. So I got to sit backstage and basically do like live graphics that fed onto the big screens during the summer and winter jams. So I did some like 3D like animation of like I type out their name like LL Cool J and then make it spin in 3D, make it chrome or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like whatever.
Yeah,
but cool, getting to meet those people, Jay-Z, dude. Jay-Z played one of those, dude. I got within inches of Jay-Z, dude. I snapped his photo like just.
Damn, that's fucking bad. You didn't meet him though. You didn't meet him.
One of those.
Even just getting to stand next to Ho was dope. So you know.
It was wild.
Yeah, dead ass. Like I was standing next to Ho. He was in front of me at the gas station.
Imagine if you had Instagram Live back then, man.
Oh,
that's
man.
I'm out here with Ho. They'd probably kick you out.
I still got, when you stand next
to they definitely kick you out.
It's a lot.
So if you don't know about the summer and winter jams, they were just basically concerts for kids, like starting at the ages of 10 all the way up to like 15, 16. These were not like concerts for adult people at all. And a lot of the audience was like kids with their parents chaperoning them for these shows.
Right.
And so they brought up Eminem. I'd never heard of Eminem at the time. He just barely dropped. He was.
My name is.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that was like brand new.
So that's like, this is like fucking 98.
97.
Well,
97, because that's
Slim
when
Shady
that
LP
shit
came out in 98. Marshall Mathers came out 99 or 2000.
In 99.
It was, I believe it was Shady.
He wasn't still super big. I mean, that single was huge, but it was definitely fucking Marshall Mathers where
nobody knew any of his other songs, right? Because when he came out on stage, I mean, you want to talk about clearing out the entire arena, dude. He came out there talking about fuck this and my mother fuck this and my dad fuck my mom.
And probably fucking his mother.
Dude, there were parents holding their kids' ears, like just holding their kids' ears, like, oh my God, what is this man talking about? He's talking about fucking a poodle. I mean, for real, dude, like that place cleared out, dude. I think it was I don't know. I don't remember if it was the convention center or the Joe and Harry Freeman Coliseum. It was a big venue, man, and it was packed as fuck, dude. It might have even been the Alamo Dome.
I used to go fucking like to big shows like in the parking lot of the fucking amphitheater in Selma, like San Antonio, but technically Selma, Texas or whatever. Fucking, I remember going to Warped Tour in like 2001, 2003. I don't remember what the amphitheater was, like T-Mobile or what was the phone company way back then? Fucking
Singular
or some shit.
Singular or something.
Yeah, maybe Singular actually. It might have been what it is. But yeah. What I was gonna ask you, what are you doing any graphics for any artists music wise currently, or anything recently that you want to shout out?
Burleson? Have you heard of Burleson Sound?
That's right. He did drop in tomorrow, but it'll already be out by the time it's out. But and then also, are you jamming anything? Because we're gonna tie it into the Don't Sleep segment probably and wrap it up. So also, if you want to throw out anything particular that you've been jamming as well, you can do that.
Man, I don't know. Like,
I know you did the work for Bankro.
Oh yeah. Actually, I mean, yeah, that's probably the only thing that I've done like for artists in particular. I also recently did a design for the old Austin dubstep legend Gromit.
Fuck yeah! Shout out Gromit. Wait crew.
Yeah, so
I saw he was playing with fucking Gritzy or something maybe. Well, I know Gritzy is doing a show with BMC soon, and I saw Gromit was on a lineup recently. Go ahead, sorry.
He was on a new warehouse. It was this new drum and bass warehouse thing they got going. So
damn, I gotta tap in when I'm in town.
A bunch of homies rolled up there. I heard it was really good. So
they're calling it Pressure Point. They're calling it Pressure Point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's probably like, you know, that's not like per se for an artist specifically, but you know, that's more for like a crew.
That's dope.
You know,
yeah.
So,
well, I saw recently that because you did that graphic work for Bankro, and he's working with. I'll tie this into. Well, Reggie just walked away, but Reggie had been talking about wanting to get Corey Kendricks on, and I think they're working together.
Corey Kendricks is a homie.
Yeah, Kendricks and Bankro and another cat named Daniel Leon. Are being focused on by a new music group formed by Davies Entertainment out of San Antonio, Texas.
Right.
Or actually, it's I think Davies Entertainment is the name of the group that's funding the project through the homie Question.
Yeah, Question.
In San Antonio, who's basically fulfilling a role as you know, a producer and you know, somebody who finds, you know, talent and puts it out there.
Right.
Question himself has a really long career.
Fuck yeah, he does.
Big story behind him.
Yeah, he was signed like years ago, and has come back several times since then. I mean, that's someone I would definitely love to fucking get in touch with, because yeah, what a story. And dope artist, dude. I'm about to pull out a question mixtape today. I wish Reggie would come back and talk about it, because yeah, that's definitely something we've discussed.
Yeah, so they've got really big plans going on. Question is put together I guess sort of a package for them, you know, a base. It's called Artificial.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, so that's kind of the guys that the company's working under, or the name, or whatever, however you want to call it. So, but like most of the work that I'm doing now is like mostly promotional. Mm-hmm. It's been that way for a while, you know, doing flyers for shows mostly, and logos for, you know, DJs, and or, you know, just companies. Because most of my work is through word of mouth. I still don't really advertise at all, because I'm only one person. I don't want to hire people, all this bullshit. I don't want to do it. I can handle what I can handle, and you know, I get enough work to keep me busy for sure.
So if anyone wants some freelance work done, where can they get in touch with you at? You want to share your socials and your tags, the best way to contact you?
They can hit me up.
If anyone listens to the show, you need an example of fucking dope ass like graphic work, just go back down our episode list.
Yeah, the place where it's made.
Chair in the kitchen right here. Like if you're looking at the vest, it's in their right pocket.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay.
All right, go ahead.
The place to go would be Instagram, would be HTrain Art.
At HTrain Art.
Yeah,
HTRAIN Art. HTrain Art.
At HTrain Art. Yeah.
Cool.
I've got some stuff on Facebook, but I don't really keep up with that. It's just a different.
If they slide in your DM on Instagram, it'll be like direct to you, right?
Yes, that's probably the best way. Yeah. Yeah,
tap in. Hey, Reggie, we were mentioning Henry did some work for Bankrow, which is BANKREAUX, like kind of with that French thing on the end of it.
He's signed to Davies Entertainment. That's questioning them.
Yeah, we were mentioning he's doing some work with Corey Kendricks, and they're working with Question and shit. We need to tap into that that crew for sure. There's a lot of talent there.
Harris.
And who?
And Harris, Harris the Terrace. Harris the Terrace.
So yeah, let's work our we got people right here. Let's reach out and fucking get that set up. Maybe we can get a couple of them on and tap into that.
For sure. Me and Corey have talked about it before.
Yeah, well, we're back in business now, man.
That would be dope.
Season 2.
Hey, who's doing the art for this episode? Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting one.
I'm just gonna like draw a fucking stick figure and shit. Post that shit up.
Well, we do need to make an intro song, or else I'm just gonna like reach out. I mean, maybe I'll just drop the Burleson single at the beginning of this one. Bow! And fucking put the graphic in front of it. But I'm looking at
Soul Fire is I'll tell you after this.
So June 10th. I'm looking to get this out probably not this weekend, but next weekend. So we'll have about a week and a half or so to get all sorted out. But yeah, fucking, I think that's a wrap. You can follow us at You Ain't Heard of Us everywhere. The best way is linktree.com or whatever / You Ain't Heard of Us. We're on all platforms. They're watching us on YouTube right now. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're listening. Review 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. Count them. get on your mom's phone, pull up your podcast app on your mom's phone, and look up You Ain't Heard of Us. Review it there too. 5 stars on your mom's phone, on your dad's phone.
Yeah, we
got to get the numbers
kids,
back up. We got to get the
kids.
algorithms working again.
Reach it out to the youth. Reach it out to the youth.
Yeah, for real. Tap in. Go to the fucking college after parties and pass out flyers and grab people's phones and review You Ain't Heard of Us 5 stars. Like
or
the
just
fucking
random people that you run into on the street, just snatch their phones and rate us 5 stars and give them their phone back.
That's it. Or we could put on t-shirts.
Yeah, fucking the You Ain't Heard of Us damn, I need to get better at this, but I think it's You Ain't Heard of Us .store, not shop .store. You Ain't Heard of Us .store. Go run it up. We got some dope merch. Beanies coming, hats coming. At H Train Art, if you want to plug in with him. Thanks for sharing your story with us and shit, man. It's good talking to all you guys.
Much appreciated. Always.
Even I was late, there was some good stuff in there, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, you was late and you took a nap in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, you missed about 17 years of history. It's okay, just 17 years or so.
Tell this motherfucker the truth, man, so he don't think I'm lying. Wait till you go back and listen to it.
Huh?